Hello, my name is Neil Henderson, and this video is a demonstration of my master's project. The aim of the project was to investigate how data could be gathered from matches of a board game and then incorporated into an AI for that game in order to improve the performance. Now, the techniques used were general, but a single game was selected within the project as a case study. That game was called Glory to Rome. And what you're looking at is the website that was developed in order to gather the data that would be analysed. So I'm going to set up a game of Glory to Rome and show you what it looks like and how it works. So I'm just going to press New Game. The website you're looking at will let me play against either humans or AIs or any combination of the two. If I wanted to add a human player to this match, I would send them this code, and on the previous screen they would simply paste that code after pressing Join Game, and they would be added into this game. For the purposes of this video, however, I'm just going to play a two-player game against the AI. So I'll press Start Game. I'm now going to walk you through what you see. I don't expect that you'll be familiar with the rules of Glory to Rome, and I'm not going to explain them in great detail, but it will be helpful just to have to say a few words about them. So the first thing to note is that it is a card game, and this box here corresponds to the area in front of me on the table if it were a physical game. And this box here where it says AI is the box in front of my opponent. My username is Hendo, which is why it says Hendo here. And note that it says I have 5 cards. These are my 5 cards. Notice that I cannot see my opponent's cards. That's because this is a game of hidden information where some aspects of the game state are not observed by all players all the time. This sets it apart from traditional games like Go and chess, and is one of the points of interest within this project. Now you'll notice as well that the background colour of my box is white. This indicates that it's my turn. I have to make a move. So what kind of move can I make? Well, it tells me at the top I have to either lead or think. So let's say I want to play this patron. I don't expect that will mean anything to you, but let's just do it anyway. So I've played a patron. The opponent now has the chance to play a purple card if they would also like to play a patron. And in fact they have played a card, but notice that it's black. This is because the jacks can be used as any colour. They're wild cards. So in order to explain what a patron action does, I will need to direct your attention to this set of 6 buttons. Notice that there is one for each of the 6 different colours of card in the game. 2 of them have a 1. Now, what this corresponds to in the physical game of Glory to Rome is a sort of pile of cards in the centre of the table between all the players called the pool. And in this case, there would be 1 yellow card and 1 blue card. And what a patron action lets me do is to take one of the cards from this area, so I could either take a yellow or a blue, and put it into an area here called my clientele. Now, I'll explain what that does in just a second. So I'm going to take this blue card. And my opponent, I suspect, will take this yellow. They would also be allowed to skip if they didn't want to do anything. But they have taken the yellow. It is now their turn to lead or think, as I just did. And they have played a labourer. And notice that it says ×2. This is because of this card that they just took. Every card in your clientele, and these would be cards in a physical game, but in this version they are just little coloured blobs. Each card in your clientele will let you perform extra versions of the action that they correspond to whenever you play it. So they have led with a yellow card that is a labourer, so they get 1 for having played it, and 1 for this being here. And now, again, I have the option to perform a labourer as well. I have this jack, so I could, but I'm not going to. So let's see what they do, and I'll explain it afterwards. There was 1 purple card in the pool, if you noticed, into this area here, which is called their stockpile. So, having demonstrated some of the flow of the game and explained very briefly some of the rules, I'm going to now skip ahead to a later point in the game and show you a little more of what the game might look like when it's further through. Okay, so here we are. The game is almost over. You can see the screen has filled up with cards. I'll just take a moment to explain what these cards represent. So each one is the name of a building, so an Archway, Insula, Circus Maximus. And when completed, each of these buildings will give its owner a certain rule-changing special effect. So for example, my bar here says that when I perform a patron action, recall that a patron action takes a card from the pool and puts it into my clientele, I can then take an additional client from the deck. So instead of getting to take one, I will get to take two every time I perform a patron, now that I have this bar. Notice over here though that this tower, this basilica and this palace are incomplete. You can tell this because of the stripes underneath the building and the fact that these slots under the coins are empty. So what this means is for this concrete building, for example, the AI will have to fill in this structure with 2 more pieces of concrete before it will be finished. And a finished building gives a player points. So a grey building, because it's got 2 coins, will give its owner 2 points. And each player's score in points is displayed next to their name, so I have 13 points and the AI has 10. However, there's a second way of scoring points, by hoarding materials in an area called the vault. I've got 3 resources in my vault and my opponent has 6. So I think I'm possibly being beaten at this point. But this is just a demonstration. So I'm going to go ahead and make a move that I think might lose me the game, but just to show you what happens when the game ends. So I'm going to lead a craftsman with this jack, wait for my opponent to follow. Sorry about that. They have in fact followed. So I'm going to put out a market. I'm going to lay the foundation for a market, to use the correct terminology. So I click on the market, click here, and this will end the game because once 2 buildings of each colour are built, the game ends. There's already 2 of each other colour, so this is going to end the game. And so you can see very nicely the scores fade in over the top of the players' buildings. The AI's section now has a green background because they have got a higher score than me. So that is the flow of a game of Glory to Rome on the website. I'm now going to show you the data that was collected from this match. So I'm going to go onto the database, which is open in this other tab. I'll just refresh to make sure that the data has been uploaded. I will go to the latest entry, which is this one, and I'll show you the nature of the data that we've been collecting. So recall that the final move I made in that match was to lay a market, which is a green building. So you can see that this is in fact the move I have just made, and this is confirmed by the fact that it says user Hendo. I lost the game, so it's tracked that this move was not a winning move. It was a 2-player game. It happened on turn 146, and this is the unique ID for the match that was played. And finally, this forced false tells me that this move was not the only legal move that I had. I could have played something else, but I opted to end the game and lose. So now, as a final demonstration, I'm going to go back and show you that it is in fact possible to play a second game on this server, and it uses all the same AI code, it uses all the same game creation and management code, it uses the same code to pass moves from one player to another. So the system is designed very generally. So this game is called No Thanks. I'm just going to show you that it works. I won't explain any rules. So I'll set up a game. Now the minimum number of players in this is 3, so I'm going to add 2 AIs, press start game. I'll just play a first couple of turns. So you can see this game works as well. It uses a similar interface, and data is collected in just the same way, and it feeds back into the AI in just the same way. So you'll notice that I haven't covered any specific details of the AI, like what algorithms it used or how the data was incorporated into it. Everything like that will be covered in the report. This video was intended only to give a flavour for Glory to Rome and the project in general. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.